Hi everyone and welcome to Season 9, Episode 1 of From Hope to Glory at Truro City with me, the United City FM. Welcome along. So we start our second season in the Championship, having brought ourselves all the way up from Tier 7 in English football. Today starts a brand new season. We've got lots of transfers to go to and also we'll play our first match as well. So let's get into it. Welcome back to Truro City. For anybody that's been watching this all the way through, you'll be happy to know, I hope, that we're going back to 2 episodes a week and we'll be playing much more of the series moving forward. My schedule on my YouTube channel has changed slightly. So now, on a Tuesday and a Thursday, you'll get Truro City episodes for the foreseeable future. And today we start a brand new season in the Championship. Season number 2 for us in the Championship. We play Peterborough Utd in a little while. But we've got lots to go through in terms of transfers because I had to really change around quite a lot of our playing staff for this particular season. Lots of people were leaving on either free transfers at the end of contracts or a couple were unhappy and got bought. Lots of things have changed. So first thing to tell you is that you'll notice, I think, over the last couple of seasons, our overall bank balance for the club in general has improved significantly. We got 8 million in the bank, which is fantastic. Hasn't really helped us particularly yet with transfer budgets and wage budgets. They're still really very, very tiny compared to the rest of the league, unfortunately. And it's been a little bit of a struggle to figure out how to improve this squad to compete in the Championship. Now, last season, you'll remember we finished in 19th position. And if I can better that this season, then I will be absolutely happy with that. We'll have to wait and see how well we compete this year. But there are 1 or 2 changes in terms of personnel and also a couple of changes in player roles specifically, not necessarily the shape that we play in. So let's go and check out all of our summer transfer dealings. So you can see that we did sell a couple of players. We also let about 3 or 4 go on free transfers because of end of contract as well. So that opened up quite a lot of squad space for us. And we were already quite a small squad. So it meant that I could actually go and find a few more players. We've spent nearly £500,000 on players. So we're getting to a point where, player purchases are becoming a bit more of a thing. But you'll also see a free in there, a couple of frees in there and a few loan deals as well. So we're still having to balance our squad that way. So there's lots to go through. So let's just go down the list. The first one that we've got is James Chunga, and we bought him in from Wolves on a free transfer. His contract was up. And this is one I've had in the pipeline for a few months because I spotted him a few months ago leading up to the end of his contract. So that's how I was able to get in so early. And I think this guy is going to be very, very good for us. This is going to be a theme. I think we have improved our squad this particular season. I really genuinely do. Although it's difficult to know how well they're going to compete. Is definitely an improvement on what we've had. Now, for him specifically, the one area of slight weakness, although it's not totally key to his game, I'd like a little bit more vision for him to see what's going on around him. And at 23, I'm not sure we're going to be able to get that. But he's going to play in the Metzala role for us, an attacking Metzala in central midfield. And for that, passing is decent. I'd like a little bit more of a long shot, but technique is good, work rate overall, off the ball, should I say, decisions. There's lots of good positives in here. Not the complete player because he's never going to be at this particular stage in our club development, but definitely an improvement on what we've had. And he will come in and play today because of a little bit of an injury we've got. And he may just secure the place long term. Who knows? So that's James Chunga. He's in. Andreas Fink has been around for the last 4 seasons on loan for us from Oldham. And we have brought him back in again. Now, he hasn't really done amazingly well for us so far, but he's consistent enough. And the thing that's changed for him this season is that his player role has changed. So we will check that out slightly. So Andreas Fink comes back in again on loan. He'll do okay. I'm still looking for a bit of an upgrade. And this particular season, up until December, unfortunately, I wasn't really able to find a good backup for him either. So a little bit of an issue there, but Fink back in the club. So that's number 2. Let's go down the list and we got Dennis Adeniran, we bought him in from Sunderland for £115,000. And this guy's going to be a holding midfield player more than anything else. What you'll find here is that I've been looking very much more specifically at the key attributes that they need for the task I'm asking for. So they might not be quite as well-rounded in certain aspects, but tackling, work rate, determination, a little bit of anticipation and aggression, some decent pace and acceleration means that this guy's going to hopefully do a decent job for us. And he's basically now our starting holding midfield player. So that's Adeniran into the club. So that's the third one, I think it is. Fourth one, if you're on my Discord, you'll have seen this guy because I'm quite excited about this guy. I got him in from Southend for £120,000. And Abubakr is a real... this is the one I want to go into, is a really good young striker, 18 years old. We've bought him. We haven't loaned him. That's key for us. So we could potentially make a profit on him even if we don't keep him long term. But finishing of 18, first touch 14, anticipation, composure, determination off the ball, all really very strong. Good pace, good acceleration, really good work rate. I think we've got a real gem on our hands, and if we can develop him over the next season or two, we will either be able to get into the Premier League potentially and still keep him as maybe a backup at that point, who knows how well they develop, or we can sell him on for a huge profit. That's the type of club that we're sitting in at the moment. So Abubakr comes in as my number one first choice striker at the beginning of the season, and we'll just see how he settles in. But I'm quite excited about this guy. I think he could be quite good. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Next one down is a free transfer. It's Amore, and he comes in to play as a rotating left fullback. We've still got Truro, who's going to rotate in and around with him as well, but he's injured for the first game of the season, so Amore gets a chance to play. Again, key attributes. You'll notice that there's not much crossing in my fullbacks, and that's deliberate. We'll talk about that in a minute. But tackling is decent. You've got some very good mentals in the middle here. Concentration, decisions, determination, leadership, all very good. Decent pace about him. So all in all, I think he'll do okay. This won't be the fullback that will take us to the Premier League, but it will be the fullback for the next couple of seasons as we continue to build up through the Championship, because I do genuinely think we've got a good few seasons in the Championship to go through first before we're capable of getting up. Excuse me. The next one on the list is Apoku. Apoku. One or the other. It will be one that we get used to. Apoku, I think. We'll call him Apoku. So he's 18 years old again, and he's going to be starting on the bench today, but I don't know how long that will last before he pushes his way into the squad, because all round he's a slightly better player than maybe what we've got on the wings already, especially on that left-hand side. But pace is good, agility is fantastic. Lacks a little bit of determination, but this is a flair player, a skill player more than a determined player. So he's got a bit of vision about him. First touch is good on the run. So overall, I think this guy's going to do okay for us. 18 years old again, he can improve, and he'll play a rotating role on that left-hand side. So that's Apoku. The next one down the list is Thomas Archer, and he's coming from Exeter City. And he is an option for us in central defence. I don't know how that central defence is going to totally work. He's not going to be in it today, I don't think. But he's going to be an okay option for us. And there are a couple of positions still where we're working with okay options rather than somebody who I think who can really push us forward. But this guy at 20 years old is an all-round okay player, decent enough tackling, position's not particularly strong, good bravery though, not so much pace. He's going to be a rotating option for us, but we needed to fill a gap in the squad to do that. And it's Thomas Archer that I could find as the best option, and he comes into the club. So that's the next one. There's two more to go. And first off, I'm quite excited about this one as well. This is a rotating option down the right-hand side, Ibrahim, and he's come in on loan from Leeds United. Now, there are lots of gaps you can see, specifically in his technical attributes, but all I care about with him is, can he get up and down that right-hand side? and he's got good natural fitness to do that. Little bit more stamina would be fantastic, but decent enough acceleration, decisions and determination. But he can cross a ball, and that's going to be hopefully key to us down that right-hand side. Now, he's not starting again. He's on the bench today, but whether he'll push himself in ahead of Wright Phillips down that right-hand side is up to him as we go through the season. Not a complete player, but a specific player for a specific task. I think he'll do okay for us. On that left foot, we will be dragging him inside as an inverted winger as well. So it gives us an interesting option off that left-hand side. But yeah, Ibrahim comes into the club. Not a complete player, but somebody with a little bit of potential, I hope. And if we can get him on a good run of form, who knows what will happen for him. And the very last one is that finally I've found a goalkeeper who can challenge Alfie Roberts for that number 1 spot. And he will start today. So it's this guy, Mbeyu, and he's come in on loan from Everton. So we've only got him for the season. Now, his physicals are not particularly strong, but there's some very good key attributes in the mentals, especially that determination, anticipation and positioning, which are great. He's got decent vision for the distribution. And then we look into his goalkeeping attributes himself. And there's some gaps there, absolutely. Eccentricity, is that going to cause us a problem? It might do, but at 18, I think some of these attributes will improve through the season. Handling is decent, the rest are okay. But he comes in and we're going to give him a chance, and Alfie Roberts will always be there to rotate in with him just to make sure that we don't put too much pressure on him. But for today's match, we're going to put him in and see what happens. And that is the transfer business that we did over the summer. There was quite a lot. It's going to be interesting to see how they all settle in, but some of them I'm quite excited about. So how does all of that determine how we play this season? Well, we're sticking with the 4-3-3 formation, a holding midfield player, 2 wingers, and that 1 attacker up front in Abubakr. And we're going to change it up slightly. We've gone for a direct counter-attacking style with Truro City this season. But the one thing that was a bit of a problem for us last year is the balance between conceding goals and scoring goals. We scored an absolute ton, but we let in an absolute ton as well. So we're going to slightly suppress that a little bit. And so the reason there was no crossing necessary in my fullbacks is that we are going to play defensive fullbacks. We're going to keep that back 4 in their shape and not let them drift away too much, and see if we can become a little bit harder to beat with that ball-winning midfielder of Adeniran as well, just in front of them in a defensive mode as well. We've got a back 5 kind of that shouldn't go too far from their positions and should be a little bit more secure. So ahead of that, what we've got is we've obviously got our number 1 striker, Abubakr, who at the moment is going to be a complete forward, but we can change that role depending on how that works for him. 2 attacking wingers. We might drop one of those into a supporting role, possibly. And then we've got a deep-lying playmaker in Chunga. If you remember, his passing attribute was exceptionally good. And then we've got White playing as the Metzala. We also talked about Chunga playing as the Metzala. He can do that. But at the moment, we're going to be playing on this right-hand side and just seeing if he can spray the ball around. Today, we got a couple of injuries. McManus, who is another one of our midfield players that isn't quite fit to play. So he's out on the bench. The other one is Williams. Now, this would normally be my starter in that deep-line playmaker role, just because he's got decent passing and decent vision on him, and he's played pretty well for us over the last couple of seasons, so he will normally come in. But the youngster in midfield, Chunga, can definitely take one of these 2 spots and can probably play both of them. So we'll have to wait and see how he settles in. But so the defensive area, I think, is stronger. The attacking area is left a bit free to kind of do what they want to do with the support of the Metzala on this left-hand side. And we'll just have to see how we get on. So there are, as I say, a couple of issues personnel-wise. Sarula is out for a few more days, unfortunately, so he misses the start of the season. Williams and Mellon both out with a little bit of a knock. In theory, McManus is as well, but just for a little bit of balance on the bench, I've put him there if we need to use him. We've still got a couple of recognised naturalised strikers from previous seasons in our midst. We got 4 of them, so we should have an opportunity to rotate and get some goals from each of them, hopefully, if Abubakr doesn't really do it. We'll have to wait and see on all of that, though. It's a little bit unknown. How we're going to do this season? Let's go and check out what the pre-season stats suggest that we're going to do. And if we go into the season preview and go right down to the bottom, we are not sitting on bottom of the preview this time round, which we were last season. We're 1 up from that on this group of players at 50-1. Now, we finished in 19th out of 24 last year. And I want us to push on, and maybe somewhere around 15th I'd be happy with. So that's kind of my own personal aim, but we'll have to wait and see. It might not work out that way at all. Anyway, that's all the setup for the season. We've got a game against Peterborough Utd, so that's a reasonably good start for us. Not one of the really big boys that have come down from the Premier League like Aston Villa are in here this year, and looking pretty decent, I must say. So let's see how we get on in our first game of the season. And like the amateur that I am, I didn't even tell you what the team was going to be. So I've had to recut this in and just let you know what the team's going to be. For today's match against Peterborough Utd in the English Championship, we're going with Amore in goal, Fink at right back, Amore at left back, Reddy and McCann in central defence, Adeniran, Chunga and White in central midfield, Wright Phillips on the right, Sarmiento on the left, and Abubakr up top with a bench of Archer, Finlayson, Rossiter, McManus, Ibrahim, Apoku and Hull. So let's get into today's game and see what happens. So, hands in my pockets, very chilled out. I've said to the players, go out there and impress me. It's the first day of the season. It gives them an opportunity for a fresh start to see what we can do this season. We are not in our home stadium. That is still being renovated with even more seats than was originally planned. That was almost a very close opportunity for Peterborough, and they follow up on that second one. And after 47 seconds in the brand new season, we go 1-0 down. Anyway, as I say, we're not in our home stadium. That is being renovated. It's going to take a few months to do that. But when we get it back, it's up to about 12,000 capacity, I think. Was he offside at that point? We'll have to look at that in a second if they give us a third look at it. But yeah, a couple of opportunities there, and it wasn't offside, and they do take a lead. And that is a very, very disappointing start to a campaign after 47 seconds. Oh well, onwards we go. 15 minutes have gone. No other goals have been scored. We have had a shot at goal, a couple of shots now. And we need to get down this end of the pitch. And that was a very aimless throw from Fink. And we lose the ball on a long punt up the field from Peterborough. They managed to keep hold of the possession and work it back into midfield. Good runner up top for them. And then a second cross in from really deep. And I have absolutely no idea what's going on at this point. I mean, they played quite well in the build-up for it, but at this point where you drop it back, it is just a boot into midfield, into the penalty box from out wide left. And again, it's that same player, Msomi, that's got in front of the defence. Now, is there an offside here? There isn't an offside. The lines show that really clearly. He made a very good run off the defender, and we cannot live with him at the moment. Again, they are pushing forward at us. He has another shot, but that's a tame one straight down the sights of the goalkeeper. And our defensive stability that I was hoping for so far this season has not demonstrated itself. Wright Phillips across to Sarmiento, sweeps the ball across the face of the goal and misses that goal by a couple of foot probably. But at least we got down there, had a decent attempt at goal and showed that we can actually penetrate their defence a little bit. And at 35 minutes in, we're not looking fantastic at the moment. Another opportunity for Peterborough down the right-hand side off a throw-in. But this time, Ben Amore wins the ball and then clears it too hastily down that left-hand side. And it goes straight into the defensive area of Peterborough, and they get to build up another attack. But they've lost the ball there in the right fullback area for us. Fink eventually tidies it up. Can we keep the ball a little bit here? Sarmiento drops it into White. That's a good cushioned header. Can he hold it? He can. Chunga loses the ball in midfield. A bit of a sweeping ball in from White. Didn't help him out much, did it? but he lost the ball. Peterborough come back at us, have another attempt at goal, but it's wayward, and we can breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief. Again, we're working down our own right fullback kind of position, and he's nearly lost it again at that point, but we do manage to just about keep it, and he moved it on to Wright Phillips. Abubakr dropping into midfield a little bit to get involved in the play. That leaves us a little bit light up top, though. I guess that might be an issue with the complete forward. We might have to change that and just leave him in that position, so we've always got somebody there. What do you think in the comments below? Let me know what you would do about that. A corner came in. We headed it over the top of the bar on that occasion, and we do reach half-time. And it's all a little bit disappointing, really. I mean, we've had some good stuff. You can see in the statistics for the match, 7 shots at goal, 3 on target, 5 and 3 for them. Our XG rating is slightly better than theirs, and they've got 2 goals, and we haven't. We've got a little bit more possession. Our passing completion is all right, but we just haven't been in any way clinical up top. So I think what we are going to do for the second half, we are going to change the complete forward, and we're going to leave him up top. But you can see why I would choose to play him there, because it's the role that he plays best in, potentially. But we're going to put him into the advanced forward role and just leave him up there and see if that can help us out in any way. Other than that, I don't think I'll change anything else just at this point. I think we'll go in and just point the finger a little bit and show me something else in the second half. We'll go into that second half and immediately go into the shouts and fire them up. We're going to change from... What happened there? I wasn't even looking positive. We're going into a positive mentality. And did we just score a blaster of a free kick? We did. I wasn't even looking because the game had just started. Wright Phillips on his right foot from 30 plus yards out, absolutely brilliantly finds that top corner and gets us straight back in the game. Fink with a long throw, partially cleared. We're going to win it in our defensive area. Reddy eventually is going to pick up the ball when he can be bothered. There he goes. Into Fink, onto Chunga. Can he move the ball forward? He can nicely. Adeniran takes over the top down that right-hand side, but the run hadn't been made from Wright Phillips quite in the way that he thought it was going to. And we lose the ball again, and Peterborough come back at us, but Abubakr wins the ball in their defensive area and sets us up really nicely. Chunga and Wright Phillips on the follow-up. It's been disallowed for offside. Chunga had the perfect opportunity on this first moment here at the top of the 6-yard box, but a crowded 6-yard box rebounds the shot. Oh, that's disappointing, isn't it, really? But in the end, it was offside, and we have to go again. At 60 minutes, though, you can see that we're finally getting into this match, it feels like a little bit. We are going to pause it in a moment just to see if we can make a couple of personnel changes just to get some fresh legs up there. What have we got happening? So we've got the left fullback, Amore, not playing particularly brilliantly, but as we've talked about, Cerula isn't on the bench today, so he's probably going to have to play through. We've got a couple of real problems in midfield. Chunga, not really doing it, is he? So we're going to take him out, and we're going to put McManus into that role instead. And then we've got a couple more that we can make. And we're going to have to take Abubakr out. Hasn't really done it for us so far. These young players, maybe we need to put them on the bench for a little while, bring them on here and there, and just see whether we can get them clicking in little moments. Aaron Hull, who is actually the club captain, can come in and play the remainder of the game. And we've got one more that we can make. And we're going to make a wide area change and bring one of our youngsters in. Are we? I don't think we can we? With Sarmiento and Wright Phillips both playing brilliantly well today, that kind of feels like a mistake. So we're going to take Adeniran off instead, and we'll put Rossiter in that holding midfield role just to see if he can shore that up for us for the remainder of the game. We're going to go back in and, of course, immediately go into the shouts and demand more from them. And it's Peterborough with a throw-in down their right-hand side, right near our area, and they've made us pay again. This has not worked out as I hoped it would do. At the start of a season, brand new first day of the season, you expect a decent performance and somehow to get some momentum from it. But of course, every club wants that from their fans, all want that from their club. And this time, Peterborough have got it from their players and we haven't from ours. Is there an offside here? Well, there kind of is, but it's not the player that was actually involved in the play. So it's given anyway. And we go 3-1 down with 20 minutes to go. We're We're going to go from positive up into attacking. That's disappointing. I didn't change the shape at the point where we were changing personnel because I felt that we were getting back into the game. But obviously that's been put back a little bit. Good goal kick though. Sarmiento, riser challenge, gets to the top of the penalty box and puts a brilliant effort into the goal from right at the top of the penalty box. I'm glad I didn't make one of those wide changes. You could see that they were both playing well. And again, it's demonstrated here. He rides that challenge brilliantly, cuts in on his right foot and then puts it into that near post. Completely confounded the goalkeeper. And we go 3-2 with still 5 minutes to play. Can we get one chance to maybe make it 3-3? It doesn't look like we're going to, does it? And the time is ticked away. And eventually the final whistle goes. We really tried in bits in that game. In the latter part of that first half, I thought we were looking better. We started the second half, should I say, in a really good fashion with that early goal from Wright Phillips. Of course, we did have one that was disallowed for offside. And then they got us again, didn't they, towards the back end of the game. And we came back one more time, but it wasn't quite enough. The wide men did brilliantly. The central defenders played very well. Other than that, there's a little bit to work on, isn't there, in terms of the balance of how we play this particular setup. In the end, we lost 3-2. Is that going to be a highlight for us this season? I really hope not, but you can never tell at this point. We don't know what we're going to be able to do. So Peter will get the points, we get disappointed, but we have to move on for the next game. So very obviously it wasn't the start we wanted after a really good set of friendly matches and getting some good confidence into the side. That's been sort of dented a little bit in the first game of the season, and we've got some big guys coming up. Leeds United, Middlesbrough. It's going to be tricky this season again because the Championship is always tricky. But if I can beat that 19th position finish, as I say, from last year, I will be relatively happy with that. What we're going to come back for is we're going to come back for the first game in September against Barnsley away from home in the Championship. Between now and then, we've got a Carabao Cup game. We've got several league matches. We'll get a clearer understanding as to how many of these players are going to settle in for us. We are going to have to change it up a little bit. I think the likes of Abubakr might go onto the bench just to see if we can get him a couple of substitute appearances and build up his confidence a little bit. But that's just part of management, isn't it, really? Trying to figure out which players are up for the fight at the point where you need them. So Barnsley up next. Between now and then, some big games. I'll update you on all of that by the time we come back. This is going to be tricky. Of course, there is still a little bit of time in the transfer window to go, but unfortunately, is there, or does that finish before the season? I can't even remember, if I'm honest, but I don't think we'll be doing anything anyway because we haven't got any more money left, so it doesn't really matter, does it? So forget that bit. Let's move on. Barnsley next episode. Thank you for joining me today. It wasn't the result we wanted, but we moved forward. Come and join me next episode. Until then, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and join my United City community. The more the merrier. Click that like button on this particular episode. That'll help me get seen by loads more other people. Until next time, though, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.